Hi and welcome to Unknown Videos. I'm Chris and today we're going to be creating a very simple website in XHTML 1.0 Strict. So you should be watching this video if you want to create a simple website which has a background, a bit of text and maybe a few images. So what we're going to do first is we're going to create a new XHTML 1.0 Strict document. That's this one here. We're going to click create. We're not going to touch any of this because we don't need to. I'm going to click create and Dreamweaver will automatically generate a blank document for you. So this is what happens in Dreamweaver. You can obviously use different editors if you need to. The first thing which you should do is indent all of your code. So this basically makes it look a lot neater and makes it a lot easier to edit when you actually get going. After you've done this, you should really title your document. So I'm going to put unloaded in here. And you should really save your document after you've got going. So if I go to C, loaded, Chris. So once that's done, it basically creates the file and saves it to the disk. If we go to F12, it'll be a completely blank document, nothing will be in there. So we're going to start off with adding a CSS file, because that's one of the first things you should do if you need CSS. So I'm going to create a new CSS file. I'm going to then save it as style.css, which usually is just style. Then to include it, basically put link rel equals then the style sheet, the type of document, so in this case it's a text-css, then a href, which basically reference where it is, and then I'm going to put style.css because it's in the same folder as the web page. Now that should be included. Sorry a minute, I made a bit of a mistake there. The first thing you should do in any CSS is overwrite any browser default configurations. So this can be done by putting a star, one of these little things, and margin 0 pixels, and then padding pixels. And what this does is it basically overrides the browser's default settings, so if you don't have these it could display differently in different browsers. Before you create a website, obviously, you should be wondering what sort of dimensions you want to make it. So for instance, this website is going to be more compatible on most screens, so I'm going to put a container class, and then I'm going to put width 1000 pixels. So basically this makes it 1000 pixels wide, and I'm going to make a margin of 10 pixels. Go to close it. Now I need to actually include this now in the index.html, so if we go into body, indent it, div id equals, save it there, container, so that's basically made everything that's in here now applicable to the container tag. So if I was to make a paragraph, and I'll say unloaded videos, that creates it there. So this is basically on a 1000 pixel width screen that would be in the middle of the page. So if I cancel that a minute, so if I want to create a let's close this little document here. To create a background or something, I need to simply put it in the body of the CSS document, and background dash color, because it's going to be a colour of the background. It's the American spelling of the word. then I simply click on colour and then pick one. So I want to, in this case, I'm going to put blue. So you can either pick one or you can do blue. Do that. Do that. So that's basically set the background to blue now, as you can see. Now that text there is not very clear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another class in here, and I'm going to call it div id equals content. Obviously this isn't going to work to start off with, to indent this. Now what I want to do here is create a new class. I want to obviously make the text different colour. Oops, just remembered it's the P tag, because it's a paragraph. Put the colour. So I'm going to put an orange colour because it's at the opposite end of the colour wheel, which is usually the way to do things. That. Now once you've saved it, the code, that will show as an orange piece of writing. So after we've done that, that should be done. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to change it to yellow, and I'm going to change it to black because obviously we want it to be very, very visible. There we go. So what we're going to do next is we're going to put in a quick image. To do this, you want to go into the container tag, because obviously the content tag's there. In fact, I'll put it in the content tag actually, because it will be a tad easier. So we've got that there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a, make a quick image in Paint. Give it a reddish background. Oops. Make it slightly bigger. Now, this may be done in Photoshop or whatever editor you use. Paint's the simplest one you can do. Go into Unnerded, the website. It's best usually to create a different folder called images or something. Image 1 I'm going to call it. Image source, browse, images, image 1. Now it's usually best to make sure that the image has actually got an alternate text, which may be image 1. This is for disabled users or users which use this sort of feature. Yeah, that's the images, image 1. Make sure this directory is visible to everyone if you upload it to a web server or something. If you press F12 and check that out, that should be there. So that's shown there. Right, so that's that done. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in a header tag. I was thinking about it, maybe a good idea to have it as a header. Just going to open and close that just in case I need to add anything. So what that basically does is gives it a good default format. And it also allows us to do some good things with paragraphs. So if I go into a paragraph tag again, if I get some lorem ipsum as an example text, so if I lorem ipsum text, ipsum generator, just generate a few things. There we go. Right. If we press F12. So it starts to be looking quite good now. So if we go back to the P tag, we can then change the font. So I'm going to say for Verdana. I'm going to use the top one, Verdana, Geneva and Sans Serif. So I'm going to quickly do that. That basically changes the text font. So it's now Verdana, I believe. You can also change the font size. So if I want to have it crazy big, 50 pixels. This is massive. If I want to have it extremely small, I can have it 5 pixels, which you can't even see. Or I could be sensible and have it at 25, which is quite readable. So yeah, that's that done. Another thing which I just thought of, which may be a good idea, is centering this image here, because as it is at the moment it's kind of off to one side and that sort of thing. So if we go and put that in its own little div tag, so if I put it div id equals whatever we want to call it, so let's call it image1. There we go. Indent it and close it straight afterwards, because obviously we don't want any of the other content going into that tag. If we obviously open it in here, so it's image1, text align, center. It's important to note that you can use this for images, text align. And what that should have done now, if we're lucky, is centered the image. It hasn't, because it's so big. So if we go back and edit our image, let's go back to Paint, open image 1, let's make it a bit smaller, so let's resize it, because obviously it exceeds the 1000 pixel mark, so let's shrink it 50%, save it, F12 it now. As you can tell, it's now centered. If I don't use that, so let's just say if we make it empty or invalid, you'll simply realign it to the left, as it doesn't apply to it anymore. So let's put that back. That's just about how you make a simple website. There are other features which we'll explain in other videos, but yeah, that's just about it. Thank you for watching.